Hello everyone, welcome to Wild Writing in the Time of Corona. Today we're on day 122 and what we're looking at today is an idea, a literary idea called the conceit. Now the conceit in poetry became famous in the 17th century where people like John Donne used it, and basically it's like a development of a metaphor. It's like a more substantial metaphor and a more unusual metaphor than the ones you might normally go to. So it's a kind of unlikely comparison, and it's a lot more fleshed out than just saying one thing is another. So often there were links of something possibly quite spiritual to a physical object. So for example, in one of his poems, Donne likened the idea of a flea jumping from one person to another and therefore having people's blood mixed in the body of the flea to an idea for seduction and why two people or how two people could be together. He also compared the world of two lovers to a globe, for example. So what I want you to do today really is to work on an unlikely metaphor. Now, to get that, you're going to need to provide the subject that you're going to be writing about. And I'm going to suggest that a good thing to write about is something that matters to you, that isn't necessarily a physical thing. So it might be a relationship you have with someone. It might be your feelings about a particular place. So I think if it's abstract, it's very helpful. So you perhaps need to think of that first. To make this easier for you, I'll maybe tell you how I did this. So I thought, what would I like to write about? So I thought that I would write about my feelings for or my relationship with my grandson. And then I needed a metaphor that I could work through that had sufficient depth in it, and I found one of those. And so in a sense, the whole poem is about the metaphor that I used, which you'll hear in a minute. But to make this a little easier for you, I've given you a list of 6, a normal list of 6, and each one of these I think has a potential to be explored. And I'm going to give you that list now. So the list is a globe. Second is a book. The third is a candle. The fourth is a garden. The fifth is a beach. And the sixth is a road. Just go through those again. Globe, book, candle, garden, beach, and road. Just to take one of those at random, just to take the idea of a book. So a book, if you think about it metaphorically, it's one object that contains an awful lot of words within it, maybe pictures within it too, but certainly words. It's going to have covers to it, which are going to be harder than the middle. It's going to be, you could open it at any page, you could keep it for a long time, you could do all sorts of things with it. You could think of the colour of it, you could think of the effect of it. So that really could take you into other territories with that. Okay, so the idea is to combine possibly your abstract idea with just one item from that list, unless you wanted to try several of them, but I suggest you just try one. And to make a poem which tries to explore the one thing, so if it's a globe or a candle or a beach, whatever. Okay, that's quite challenging for you to do, I know, but it's quite an interesting challenge to do, and it certainly takes us to familiar territory in the sense of we looked at metaphors and similes. So I'm going to read you the poem that I wrote using, my choice was a road. I don't know why I didn't choose a garden, but I chose a road. And initially I wrote the poem in first person because I find that when I write, that's how my strongest writing comes out. But in order to broaden possibly the reach of it, I then changed that first person to third, which is what I'll read for you now. So it's called, I'm just going to call it Road. She can remember exactly where she started on this road. In a tiny car, in a silly woolly coat she thought looked cool, chattering away to her friend, when, as if screeching to a red light, her phone rang. Brakes on, turn round, full speed. It isn't usual to be so warm in November, but that day had heat. Her emerald woolly cloak draped her like runny icing on a cake, as on she sped, southward, towns, lives, time flashing by her. She might have been in darkness for all the hours and miles that passed. Stepping across one road, as the night swept in, her tired old feet found a new step, a lightness on a bright new path. She's on it still, though miles away, as it winds through days, hills, borders, oceans, footpaths, birthdays, and brings her always to your door. So that poem looked at the idea of being on a road, travelling along a road. I tried to use words to do with speed, words maybe a little bit to do with how you travelled, what you saw, where the paths went. I'm not sure how successful it is. I quite like it, but I think at least it keeps a focus on a road and keeps a focus on the metaphor, if that makes sense. I'm not sure that it works at all, but anyway, have a go. It's a conceit. So you take care. Please do share what you write with me, and I look forward to seeing you in a couple of days for our next workshop. Until then, you take care. Bye.